Breaking this morning, Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has issued his first public statement since his appointment last Thursday. And we should note that the supreme leader didn't appear on television himself. Instead, the statement was read by a presenter on Iranian state television. He vowed to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed and avenge, quote, martyrs.
The third part of my speech is actually my heartfelt, my wholehearted gratitude to our security and defense forces, our nation that has been targeted in a very oppressive way, but our forces blocked their progress and they blocked their efforts to damage our nation and to partition our nation by their brothers and sisters. Our request is, and our aim is actually to fail them, to make them fail in a very regrettable way. The enemy is actually very vulnerable, and I would like to assure you that the revenge will be taken of all the people for all the martyrs.
And now let's go live outside the White House to CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. Weijia, the Supreme Leader is calling for the Strait to remain closed, but we know oil prices have risen worldwide because of this war. President Trump talked about oil prices ahead of the statement from Iran's Supreme Leader. What did the president have to say?
And Mugo, he did just post a short time ago, and the president is trying to calm concerns about oil prices, which of course impact gas prices here at home, which continue to rise. And the president posted that the United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money, but of far greater interest and importance to me as president is stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons and destroying the Middle East and indeed the world. He goes on to say he will not let that ever happen. And so the president says that on the one hand, the U.S. makes a lot of money, but he didn't in this case address the cost. And because it's not about supply. When you're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, it is about logistics. It's about getting that supply through the strait, because it's not only about oil production here domestically, but also, you know, it all factors in when you're talking about the prices. You have to factor in the oil from around the world, because it is such a global and interconnected issue. So the president is taking this head on, or trying to at least. Yesterday, he hit the campaign trail and went to Ohio and Kentucky. He intended to talk about drug prices and about Congressman Thomas Massie, who he is stumping against, but ended up talking largely about the war in Iran and about gas prices, Mugo, because politically this is a very difficult thing for him to navigate, because you cannot deny that there is pain for people as they fill up their tanks.
And Weijia, Khamenei says that the enemy is vulnerable and that Iran is going to succeed. That message is obviously very different from the mixed messaging coming out of the White House. So are we getting any closer to understanding the president's goal when it comes to this war?
Well, the president has made his objectives quite clear. And so in terms of the mixed messaging, he has already prematurely declared victory. The problem is that doesn't meet the reality on the ground when it comes to those objectives that he has laid out so clearly, which are to remove Iran as a nuclear threat forever, to make sure they can't have a nuclear weapon, to destroy all ballistic missile capability, to annihilate the Navy, and to make sure Iran is not funding terrorist proxies around the region. But the new Supreme Leader in his statement addressed that head on and said that they continue to have those proxies in the region, and also talked about the Strait of Hormuz. And in terms of the nuclear ambitions, it is believed by experts that there would have to be boots on the ground in order to remove enriched uranium from Iranian facilities. And of course, that is a red line for many. And the president himself has said, even though that's an option, that's not something that he's willing to talk about right now. And so in order to achieve all of that, many things have to happen. So even though the president says we're basically already winning, we just want to win even more, he can declare victory. But, you know, in terms of actually succeeding, is another story, Mugo.
Okay. Weijia Jiang.